So when I was a kid, I was playing a game on my mom's Windows 98. The game was a mini-game on Encarta, a digital encyclopedia from the time which existed before Wikipedia, which we owned on CD-ROM. The game was great because it had the player navigating a pseudo 3D maze of medieval castle-themed rooms and dungeons, and answering trivia questions and interacting with weird gestures and whatnot. It had a great atmosphere. My young self would pick it up from time to time, even though I could barely answer any of the trivia questions. Anyway, my mom's sister came over, and they sat in the adjoining room at the dining table. My aunt began to talk loudly about one of the college courses she was taking. She was bragging about her clever strategy she came up with for taking the class. She said it was her thing to pick the nerdiest looking guy in the room and sidle up to him so that she could get him to give her the answers to all the homework questions. She described the guy as having long, greasy hair and skin. She figured it was a fair trade because the guy got to look cool for having a hot girl near him while she stole his work. Thought it was weird that she was bragging about how bad she was in the class, so that she had to get the answers to the homework off of some greasy strangers. She was an older lady, but still, she was like scamming these dudes way younger than her. And she's my aunt. She's in the family tree. I must have really good genetics though. I should do something cool with my life than playing video games. And then I went back, playing my Encarta 98 trivia game. Recently I was taking a course, and I would always have some time before class. So I would typically sit at a table in the building and do work. This one girl started sidling up to my table, began sitting with me before class, and I thought, damn, this is just like my aunt. I mean, she had long hair and everything. It was happening all over again. This girl must think that I'm really hot. She's probably picking up my good genetics. I should ask her to show me her homework. I realized that it would be mean to lead this girl on. She was probably falling in love with me. The guy with such good genetics and a B- in the last test. So I told her not to get too attached. She'd really get hurt. My heart only has one love in this world, and that's video games. Final Fantasy V is a game about running away from your problems and getting new jobs if things get too hard. The story in Final Fantasy V is actually a highlight, with a more imaginative narrative from previous games. The land, in days of yore, was split into two worlds, separated by the cosmos. The separation has been all but forgotten by time, and the inhabitants of the two worlds forgot of each other's existence. Continents broken apart, turned into seas, and oceans and entire civilizations lost connection. In the modern day, Bartz, Lena, Ferris, Galuf, and Creel investigate the appearance of meteors devastating their homeworld. Through their journey, it is revealed that Galuf and Creel are denizens of another world, and this new threat from a mysterious foe named Exdeath was brought by the two from their world. Eventually, the pair return to their home planet to confront their old foe Exdeath once and for all. Bartz, Lena, and Ferris follow along and become swept into the conflict with Exdeath on Galuf's home planet. Exdeath, it turns out, was birthed by a tree and has become a powerful lich, having achieved immortality. It is Exdeath's desire to recombine the two planets and then to rule over them both. Exdeath succeeds in merging the two planets into one, bringing the land back to its original form and releasing powerful demons from beyond the cosmos into the world to unleash havoc. The four warriors must use every resource available to them to overcome this impossible new enemy. The Pixel Remaster adds some nice quality of life changes to the game. The music in particular is a great improvement on the older games, the original version being released back in 1992. While the antics of the four heroes can often be silly, and even more often corny. The core story is solid, and there are a lot of interesting elements in the lore to engage in. I give the narrative an 8.5 out of 10. Final Fantasy V is a Super Nintendo game with 16-bit graphics. They are significantly better than in previous titles. The Pixel Remaster makes the visuals even better. 8 out of 10. Final Fantasy V is actually not a good game. There are 3 open worlds to explore, however, towards the end especially, the game becomes extremely vague about where to go, which is especially frustrating when there is a significant open world to try and navigate. For the most part, most of the battles can be completed without too much difficulty, with the player going at their own pace. They will have to get used to dying though, as many boss battles require the player to figure out the best combination of jobs for characters to have for each battle, which can be frustrating if the battle requires abilities the players don't have yet. In the final world, every dungeon becomes a slow trudge with each random encounter featuring enemies with abilities, which can destroy the player's team almost instantly. In the final dungeons, I found myself running from almost every battle, because it just wasn't worth it most of the time. The final battle with Exdeath is especially frustrating. You can actually go directly into the interdimensional rift where Exdeath waits without doing practically any of the World 3 activities. I did just this, accidentally getting sucked into the void and trading my way through the myriad enemies with abilities to insta-kill my heroes. Finally getting to Exdeath, I can't tell you how many times I attempted to fight him, but it was just impossible with my current team composition. I thought I was going to have an easy time with Carbuncle, able to reflect any spell, and Golem, able to block any attack, but I was mistaken. Sadly, I was forced to retreat, and then looked up all the things I had missed out on. I visited Phantom Town, which had been caught between the 2 worlds, and existed on neither before the merge. I collected Odin, Bahamut, powerful summons. You'll need both for the final battle. The final spells, Flare and Holy, I had to get from the Fork Tower. A couple of Reflect Rings were hidden behind the waterfall. And I almost skipped out on the Phoenix summon, but decided last minute to get it from the Phoenix Tower. Glad I did. This was actually the best summon for healing. Serves as a Phoenix down and an elixir in one, allowing the player to continually regenerate their MP. I picked up Excalibur and the other legendary items, and finally headed back. Even with all the equipment, the battle was still extremely difficult. Exdeath is the most annoying boss fight ever. The game is also the most annoying game ever. Many of the final items I would have had no clue how to get. The dungeons have trapdoors everywhere, dropping the player to lower floors if you put a foot in the wrong place. There are also too many jobs to learn. The game is just too annoying and too difficult to be any fun. But it is also the best one I've played of the first 5. Gameplay, 3 out of 10. Final score, 5 out of 10. And an instruction manual, because you're going to want a guide if you intend to play this game.